So 2023 was going to be a very interesting year for the Nintendo Switch, really for two reasons. One was the known, and the other was the unknown. The known, of course, was The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. There was a good chance that this game was going to once again revitalize the Legend of Zelda franchise and be an absolute success, and of course it has been. It's been a success with critics, it's been a success with fans. I absolutely love the game. I've put well over 100 hours into it. I've beaten the main game. I'm still doing side story stuff, still trying to unlock more outfits that you can get in the game. It's just a never-ending wealth of content with this game. But that was the known, like I said. The unknown was, of course, what was Nintendo going to do post Tears of the Kingdom life? We knew that Pikmin 4 was going to be a thing, but beyond that, it was kind of up in the air. Many people felt that The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom was the swan song for the Nintendo Switch. And you know what? I'm not even quite sure that that's the wrong thing to say, even though everything has changed for the Switch now in 2023 with the recent Nintendo Direct, and I want to go over some of these game announcements for you. I think you could still make a case that Tears of the Kingdom could potentially be the swan song, and we'll talk about it as this video goes along. But we went from a very dry second half of the year to, well, really something floodier than a YouTuber's basement. Like, let's be real here. The game influx just dramatically increased with this recent Nintendo Direct, with bunch of new stuff that we didn't really expect to be coming to the system. I don't think anyone really thought that Super Mario RPG was going to get a remake. The Super Nintendo cult classic, the game that every month everyone wonders, well, where is Super Mario RPG on the Super Nintendo for the Switch Online stuff? It's never coming. What's the problem? Is it Square's problem? Is it Nintendo's problem? Well, now you don't have to worry about that, because we're getting a brand new remake of this game, and I think it looks absolutely fantastic. As someone who's never played this game before, I am super looking forward to playing this game for the very first time. I think the graphical style is absolutely amazing. I love what they've been doing with that sort of graphic style, because that obviously parlays into our next game that we're going to talk about, which is Super Mario Bros. Wonder. You know, a 2D Mario game was a tough sale for me. I'd said it time and time again. I didn't know that I could feel justified with a 2D Mario game, because I expected Nintendo to just be half-assed with it. And I know that's probably going to get me some heat in the comment section, but like, let's be real. The new Super Mario Brothers franchise, while it started out really good, by the end of it, like, it was just milked to death. It was so vanilla. There was nothing to it. It was literally just a decent platformer game that if you stripped away Mario from the new Super Mario Brothers games, I don't think you have a game that sells as well as it does. I don't think you get a game that gets critically acclaimed as it does, and I'm not even sure why it got critically acclaimed. So they had to go back to the drawing board with Super Mario Brothers. But now, Super Mario Bros. Wonder is also coming out in 2023, a brand new take on the 2D Mario franchise, and man, this looks awesome. They actually put personality into this game. They put character into this game. They made this game feel a bit different. You know, looking at the game itself, like, yeah, it's still a 2D Mario game, but there's so many different things added in with like the wonder flowers and stuff that just sort of give you this euphoric trip, and how the levels are going to change and how areas are going to change. And I love that. I think there's going to be so much just like hidden stuff within this, just so much fun stuff to discover within this game, that I am super on board with this game. So there were other first-party games that were there. Some of them actually released, the Pikmin 1 and 2 HD versions. They're already available on the Switch. They seem to be pretty good ports of the game, obviously gearing up for Pikmin 4. There's a new WarioWare game with WarioWare Move It coming out this year. Detective Pikachu Returns is coming out this year. We learned about games coming out in 2024. There's like a new Princess Peach game coming out. Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, which was a great game on the DS or 3DS, but it was stuck on the 3DS. That's getting a remake, or I guess it's more of a remaster for the Nintendo Switch with some improved visuals. So Nintendo, I thought, did a pretty good job at this event. And then, of course, you had all the third-party stuff, which was just amazing to me. we got a deeper look at Sonic Superstars, which is a game that I am completely sold on. Like, I think this game looks so good. I'm also a Sonic the fanboy, or Sonic the Hedgehog fanboy. So, like, I think all Sonic games look good. Like, you could have Sonic, like, taking a dump in a bag or something, and, like, that could be the cover art of the game. And I would still be like, hey, this game has some serious potential. Poop again. But obviously, you know, sticking with the remakes and remaster side of things, the Batman Arkham trilogy is something that makes perfect sense for the Switch. These games are just absolutely fantastic games that should be available on every platform till the end of time. Batman Arkham City is a game that I absolutely love to death. I've played it and I own it on so many different platforms, but just as a pseudo open world, open aspect Batman game made so much sense. And to see these games finally coming to the Nintendo Switch, like, yes, I've played these games. Yes, I own these games on multiple platforms. I don't care. I'm repurchasing them. The Metal Gear Solid Master Collection. Once again, just a fantastic compilation of Metal Gear Solid games with 1, 2, and 3, the MSX games. You, of course, have now the NES games on there as well. There's like in-game strategy guides and different jukeboxes and stuff. Sign me up for this. Like, God almighty, inject it into my veins. I don't think that re-releasing old games is a bad thing like some people do. It's like, oh, the companies are running out of ideas. It's like, well, no, companies are having to take less and less risks because of the high development costs of games in 2023 and beyond. It is very expensive to make a video game, and it's not getting any cheaper. So these compilations make perfect sense to be coming out because these are established, highly rated franchises that people can sort of relate to. People absolutely love these games, and rightfully so. But I go back to my main question with this video. You know, we've obviously talked about stuff that is now coming on the horizon for Nintendo Switch owners. There's going to be more announcements. I mean, there's probably going to be another event or two this year with Nintendo, whether or not they're full-on directs or partner directs or direct minis, you know, who's to say? But I definitely think there'll probably be at least one more game coming out as a first-party title from Nintendo, and who knows, there could be more and we could learn about more stuff. They obviously decide to talk about certain things at a certain time point. But was Tears of the Kingdom really the swan song for the Switch? Does this sort of negate all of the doubt that was surrounding the system? And, you know, I really can't say that it changes my mentality with it, because when you look at, you know, a 2D Mario game, obviously it's going to sell very well. But a 3D Mario game, you have to do a hell of a lot more with it. Ask any video game developer what's harder to make, a 3D world game or a 2D world game. And I mean, every single one of them with a brain at least would probably say a 3D world game, because there's more assets you have to use. You have to put more time into things like that. Super Mario RPG is going to be awesome, but you already have the template for a game there. WarioWare games, I mean, those are just mini games. Luigi's Mansion, Dark Moon, I mean, it's a port. It's a port of a 3DS game. I love this Nintendo Direct because it had a lot of games for me, but I could definitely see, you know, Nintendo is sort of slowing down with the Nintendo Switch. There was no other sort of crazy stuff at this event. There was nothing that was like a big game completely out of nowhere that was something that would have a high development cost. I think that's where people kind of get a little bit lost when we're talking about things like that, because there was rumors leading up to this direct presentation that there wasn't going to be any really heavy hitter stuff for the Nintendo Switch for the second half of 2023. And then we saw this presentation and many people were like, well, there was heavy hitter stuff here. All these people were wrong. But really, that just sort of boils down to the individual. That sort of boils down to a person. A bunch of remakes and remasters, you know, that's good stuff. Trust me, I will be buying all of these, but I could see people sort of downplaying those. A 2D Mario game instead of a 3D Mario game. I mean, which would have been more impactful? Which would have been more, you know, sort of to say, hey, the Nintendo Switch still has a ton of life in it. You know, I don't think Nintendo was ever going to fall off a cliff with this. If you watch any of my previous videos, I always said that there would be smaller projects coming out, but the bigger stuff, the more ambitious stuff, the stuff with higher development costs, I think we can all agree that that's probably moved over to whatever the successor system is, which we might see in 2024. You know, obviously this is something that's been a hot topic. Some YouTubers are telling you that it was going to come out this year. They were telling you like 2 months ago, they're like, I think it's coming out in June and it's coming out in 2023. And it's like, wow. Okay, that's a statement, but hey, you know, at the end of the day, most of us are just sort of guessing and, you know, just giving our thoughts on what is going on with this. But I definitely feel like the Nintendo Switch has completely changed for 2023. There is a solid influx of games, but I also don't think that the narrative of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom being the big AAA swan song for the Switch, I don't think you can negate that, at least with this lineup that we have now. With Metroid Prime 4 ends up being a game that comes out on the Switch and comes out in 2023 or early 2024, then you could sort of have a bit of that conversation. But I definitely think that that game has sort of shifted. It's probably going to be on the next system. Maybe it's a cross-platform game that you can pick up on day one. But it's interesting to see. You know, the Switch still definitely has some life left in it. You know, it's nice to see a lot of these games coming to the platform, and I'm definitely looking forward to talking about these games, looking forward to reviewing these games. And always, there's always that thought in the back of your head is like, well, what else is there? You know, that's the sort of culture we live in, where you get these events, you get these presentations, and you're satisfied for like a day or two, but then you're kind of like, well, you know, is there something else? Well, what else is there to talk about? Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments section down below. Do you feel that any of these games at the Direct are able to be said, you know, in the same breath as The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom? Because I can understand why people would put a 2D Mario game in that same category, because obviously it's going to sell like hotcakes. But to me, it's just more so the development costs. I mean, I don't think anyone is expecting Super Mario Bros. Wonder to be a $70 game like Tears of the Kingdom was. It's obviously going to be a $60 game. So, you know, is it in the same category because of this new $70 category? Like, that's a whole topic for another day. But thank you guys for checking out this video. If you are new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button, like, comment, and share. Hit the bell notification as well. And as always, I will catch you guys on the next video. Later.
Poop again! He called the poop!